Hi, I'm Shannon Ayers Holden, and I am the Community Relations Manager here at Alserkal Avenue. And my responsibility here is to engage with community members. I've been involved in the arts and culture scene here in the UAE for a number of years, off and on. My family and I have lived here in Dubai for over 12 years now. But back in 2010, I managed a very large exhibition of contemporary African art here was presented here at one of the gallery spaces here on Alserkal Avenue. Back in the summer, everybody witnessed the racial protests that unfolded just in full view, and as a result of the death of Mr. George Floyd at the hands of a police officer. And that went on in full view for everyone to see for almost 9 minutes, where he just lost his life very graphically. And people responded to that in a very visceral way. Black people in particular had responded with a rage that had been simmering underneath the surface for such a long time. But also white people were shocked and offended by this. And people could not imagine that this was happening in the United States of America in the year 2020. But in fact, it had been and has been and will continue to happen until something changes. There was so much going on social media about posting, Black Lives Matter support and solidarity, posting black squares, showing as institutions, not necessarily cultural institutions, but institutions that they were aligned and supporting this Black Lives Matter movement, but really without a clear understanding of what Black Lives Matter means and how we even got to this point of protest. And I did a little bit of research and saw what a lot of institutions were doing and how quickly those efforts were going sideways, because many of them, some very large cultural institutions were making these very out front statements, but there was a tone deafness about that got them in trouble. We can do a number of things. We can, put together some discussions, we can put together some reading material, but we have to make sure that it's informed and not tone deaf, because we can get in trouble very quickly on this.
And blood at the roots.
One section that I did include, in addition to film and podcast, was song, music, because it gives an expression to a particular feeling, a particular mood, a particular feeling of sorrow, despair, of hope. There's some fantastic music from the soundtrack of the civil rights movement. I mean, if you listen to it right now, some of these songs they're still relevant today. They're very uplifting. They're very the glass is half full. We are going to, we'll weather this no matter what you throw at us. So what I'd like to do is to focus on how we can bring this discussion about social justice, inequality, and happiness that everyone wants, the basic tenets that everyone wants, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, how we can bring that closer home to this region where we truly are a melting pot of communities. I would like to see us have more of a discussion about things like caste, and I am personally going to commit to learning more about the caste system in Amdakar's book and readings, and hope that people can educate me on these things. But I also think that there is a whole, like one of the participants, one of the young lady who was here at the discussion about the Afro-Arab experience. I mean, that's a whole another conversation that could be a curriculum part 3. I would like to see more collaborations. We had some interesting participants in the book discussion yesterday, so I would really welcome collaborating with some of the participants who came forward yesterday to talk about a particular point of view of this experience. And there are other people that I've encountered online. Love to, expose more widely here, because I just think their work is just fantastic.
Rasul. Stop this! Anybody!